Hey guys, Michael Rashawn here, your realtor and Choose to Win coach here with Zig Ziglar. Today I wanted to jump in and just give you a quick overview of what the Choose to Win coaching system is about and give you some quick ideas and maybe some quick tips on just practical things you can use today. So stick with me till the end. I'll have a little offer for you guys at the end because I do want to be a resource. I do want to come from a place of contribution. So be sure and hang around. As you may or may not know, Tom Ziegler is the son of Zig Ziglar and the CEO of Ziegler Corp. And he has written a book called Choose to Win. And it's basically the whole concept of the book is changing your life one simple choice at a time. So the fastest way to success is to replace good habits with bad. Sounds simple enough, doesn't it? So if you're not familiar with Zig Ziglar, this is a screenshot from their Facebook page. This is actually a couple days ago, and they're up over 5 million followers right now. So if you know anything about Facebook, you know that's a pretty high number. Not many people I know have 5 million followers. But basically, Zig Ziglar was the king of motivation and motivational speaking and self-help. So they have a podcast called The Ziegler Show. It's got over 40 million downloads, and they have some really great guests on there as well. So from Dave Ramsey to Seth Godin, and many, many more. So the famous quote that everybody knows Zig Ziglar for, or most people do, is you can have everything you want in life if you will just help enough other people get what they want. And for me, this is a quote that kind of started me on my journey to becoming a Ziglar coach, if you will. I came across this quote about 10 years ago. It was the first quote that I remember specifically from Zig Ziglar. I'm sure I had heard other stuff and seen other quotes from him, but this is the one that really caught my attention. For me, my passion and my drive has always been to help people. And as you can imagine, this quote and everything Ziglar does fits right in line with that. So that is why I was super excited to become a Ziglar certified coach. So basically, what I wanted to talk to you guys about is winning is a choice. So whether you like where you're at, whether you're happy with where you're at, or whether you want to continue to grow and achieve and do more, either one of those is a choice. You can stay exactly where you're at, whether you're happy there or not, or you can choose to make a difference and make a change. And it doesn't have to be a drastic change. It doesn't have to be a monumental change. It can start very, very small, and those little changes over time add up. For example, one of the things that I do is it's a system called Orange Theory. It's basically it's 1 hour long workouts, but you have to sign up in advance. And if you don't show up, they charge you for the class. So it has that built-in accountability. And when I first started going, I could barely run, 3 blocks. Now I'm up to over 72 miles of total run time on the treadmill while in that class, and I burned over 150,000 calories. Now, that's a big number. If you told me when I first started I was going to burn 150,000 calories, I'd probably called you crazy. But here it is, a little over 200 classes in, and I burned 150,000 calories. So it's not to say that that's my final goal, but if I had a goal of getting 150,000 calories, there's no way I could do that in one big step. It'd be physically and emotionally and mentally impossible. But breaking that up over 200 classes, I was able to reach that goal. So, again, whether you choose to win, it's a choice, and you can transform your life one simple choice at a time. It's not anything that takes rocket science, and it's not anything that you have to be a special person to do. You are completely capable of doing it, and you are more capable of doing it than probably you even know. And man was designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, and endowed with seeds of greatness. Now, I truly believe this is true of every single person out there, whether you are a high achiever as you see yourself, or whether you're a low achiever, or you just have little self worth or high self doubt, whatever the case is, you were made for more and you were designed to accomplish things. I truly believe that. And if you don't believe that about yourself, then you should surround yourself with people that do. Because everybody was built for something great. And there's something out there that only you are capable of doing because of your history and your background and where you have been, what you have experienced. Now, this gets us to your why. Now, if you're familiar with the concept of a why, Simon Sinek defines it as your purpose, cause, or belief. It's basically it's what drives you, what gets you out of bed in the morning, what is your purpose for doing what you're doing. And it doesn't have to be specifically about work. Work can be a means to an end of sorts. For me, my biggest why has always been helping people on a broad level. And as I've matured and as I've grown as a person, that has become very specifically wanting to help people find work that they love and live a balanced life. Because if you love your work but everything else is out of balance, or you hate your work, then you probably need a change. So my why has become much more focused as I've grown as a person. And it is currently what I love to do and what I'm so passionate about is helping people find their why, find their purpose, their cause, their belief. And not only that, but helping them live a balanced life. Because if you have something you're very passionate about doing, but it comes at a cost of your family or your finances or your friendships or anything else, and it's ultimately it's not worth it because you can have a balanced life and still love what you do. So that would be my encouragement to you guys. If you don't know what your why is, I would love to help you guys with that. There's a little process that we go through, and it's super, super powerful. And it is something that can ultimately change the direction of where you are and where you're going. Because having a clear why gives you all kinds of clarity and it gives you all kinds of purpose. So you'll know where you're going, you'll know why you're going there. You're not just spinning your wheels. And as you get that clarity, you're able to balance out every other area of your life and have a smooth ride. A tree's fruitfulness depends on its rootfulness. And this is just a quick little analogy to show you that what happens below the surface does have an impact above it. If these roots were all rotted out here and there was no healthy soil, you can bet that there would not be fruit on this tree. So, from the looks of it, this tree has pretty healthy soil. So, what is the soil that you're planted in? Are you filling your mind with nonsense, self doubt, hours of TV, music, whatever it may be? You have to consider how it's affecting you and the impact that it's having on your overall life. What are your dreams, desires, goals of your life? What is the fruit you would like to see? So, for me, I'll give you a couple of them. For me, it's finances. I want financial freedom, and it's family. Those are my two big things. So, basically, I want to be able to go where I want, when I want to go there, with who I want to go there with. And I want great relationships in my family. If I have those two things, then everything else is gravy. I mean, those are my two big goals. And in order to get those, I can't strictly focus just on my career and my family. There's much more that goes into it than that. Here is the root system. At Ziegler, we use something called the wheel of life, and it has 7 spokes. And as you'll see in this picture, there's 7 different root systems. So the mental, the financial, the spiritual, personal, physical, career, and family. And each one of those feeds and is connected to the other one. So if any one of those is out of balance or any one of those is unhealthy, it's going to have an impact on the other ones. You cannot have anything that happens in any one of these in isolation. So this is where I want to spend the bulk of my time here. This is the wheel of life. Now, if you look at this, it's got numbers from 1 down here at the bottom to 10 at the top. And each one is a different spoke. And then if you look, it makes a wheel. So starting at the top, there's the physical spoke. Now, physical is going to be your physical body, who you are as a person, like your physical being. Are you healthy? Are you able to walk? Are you able to exercise? Do you have energy? So physical, family. For you, that may be actual family. For some people, that may be very close friends and close relationships. So basically, people that could be considered family. Mental is going to be your input. What are you allowing into your head? Are you, like I said earlier, listening to a bunch of garbage on the radio? Are you watching hours of Netflix or Hulu or Apple TV? Or are you listening to podcasts and listening to audiobooks or reading books, something that's going to add value and nurture who you are as a person? The financial, but are you living in debt? Is it something that you're living paycheck to paycheck? Are the finances causing issues in maybe your personal, your physical, your mental areas of life? Family, is it causing an issue with your family? Spiritual. So spiritual is another one. Doesn't necessarily have to be religion, but what kind of keeps you centered and what keeps you balanced. For some people, that could be nature. For other people, that could be meditation. For me personally, that looks more like going to church and spending some time in the Word. I believe differently. You may not, and that's okay. What works for me isn't going to work for everybody. So, career. I'm in real estate right now, and I am a choose to win coach, as you know. So, my primary career started off in real estate, and that was an avenue for me to help people. I made really good money doing it, but it wasn't ultimately what I wanted to do. As time has gone on, I've grown as a person. I've transitioned from real estate into much more of a coaching role. So, are you doing something you enjoy doing? Do you dread going to work? Is it something that you would do if you weren't getting paid for it? That's a mark of a true career that you love. Personal, that's going to be our self care. How much do you take care of yourself so you can take care of other people? Because ultimately, if you're run down and your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health, those are all run down, then you're probably not going to be a lot of good to anybody. So self care is not selfish. In excess, maybe it can be, but it is something that is important because in order for you to be your best self with everyone else, you have to be able to take care of yourself in order to perform at a high level. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper in future videos into each one of these, but the concept is that if you go through and you rate yourself on each scale here, so personal, 1 being awful, like I'm very, very bad, 10 being I'm perfect and I don't need any help in that area. You go through and do that for each one of these 7 spokes, it'll give you somewhat of a picture of how you're doing. So say you're at ones for everything. Now your wheel's going to be nice and round, but it's very, very small and it's going to take you a really long time to get anywhere and it's going to be easily stopped. So maybe you're at tens in, let's say 5 of these areas, but you're at fives in 2 of these areas. So if you're at a 10 all the way over here, and then it cuts into a 5 here, that's not going to be a very smooth ride. So as you can see, unless you're at a 10 in all areas of your life, which if you are, you're probably lying to yourself because nobody is perfect. But the goal is to improve. So pick an area that you can improve on and just focus on that one area. Make small changes in it. So we were talking about physical earlier. So what are some physical goals that you maybe want? How is your physical affecting other areas of your life? For me, before I started exercising, before I started working out regularly, I did not have a lot of energy. And that had a direct impact on my family because I got 3 kids at home and kids have endless energy, it seems like. So I was having a hard time keeping up or staying motivated enough to want to play with my kids. Also had an effect on my career because I was having a very hard time keeping up with work. And I was struggling to do the things I needed to do to make my business be successful. That was having an impact on my finances because my business wasn't where it needed to be. So that affected my finances. My finances affected my personal. Again, so you can see how it's all tied together and not one area is going to have and every one area is going to have an impact on the other areas. So if you're strong in many areas, that's great. If you're weak in many areas, that's okay too. The point is that without knowing what you know, take this assessment, just kind of do this for yourself. Even if you don't have this, just pause this video and write down the numbers. You can roughly do that and get some kind of an idea of what your wheel looks like. And then come back and I'm going to give you guys some simple tips on what you can do to improve just small changes in any one single area. It's more about being consistent with the small changes than it is about making big changes that you're not even going to keep. So rather than do anything major, let's focus on really small changes that are sustainable, that are achievable, and that we can use to then build some momentum into bigger changes. Because small changes add up, and over time, you may not even notice the small changes, but over time, they're going to make a huge difference. So, again, if you guys don't know your why, that's something I'm super passionate about. And I would love to give you what's called just a quick strategy session. And basically, on that, what we're going to do is um, kind of dig into who you are as a person. I'm going to ask you some questions to kind of bring things out and find out what your passions are, what your goals are, what your dreams are, things like that to help us get a clearer picture of who you are right now and where you want to go. And more importantly, why you want to go there, because that's what ultimately drives us. If you don't have a clear why, then the how doesn't really matter. So that's all I got for you guys today. Come back and we're going to be talking about, going to be breaking down each one of these individual wheels and giving you some specific tips on what you can do. But again, a balanced life is a happy life, and I want you guys to succeed, and I believe in you. So get out there and get it done.